This is a little planning and pre-assembly of my 6-inch smooth operator. This video is part of a series on how to build the 6-inch smooth operator quadcopter. You may notice we now have these silver steel bolts. Neil did an update video. In the rear we got the 20mm, and in the front we have the 25mm because we need a little extra space for the TPU mount for the GoPro. And I put it on here and it's just temporary. By the way, the protrusions right there, that's normal because we have a top plate. They'll be taking up that extra space later. Now I'm going to be putting these race wires. You see right there, the race wires, right over here on my frame, and I've got these white and pink lights that are going to go on top, something like that, to light this up as the motors spin up. So what I need to do is I want to mount these on here, and I wanted to take my motor, which is the F80T motor, F80 Pro, and I want to make sure that I'm putting the race wires in the best possible place. So just to trial fit this, I see how much space I have there, and I want a little slack on these wires. So if I take this and put it here, and I want to have a little slack on the wires, I'm probably going to put it about there. I'm thinking about a half inch from that, and that should give me enough room for the wires and to play around. So at this point what I need to do is just mount those up there. So I'm going to take a little of my double-sided tape. Let's just cut that to size. Change the blade on this so I know I got a nice sharp edge. And I'm going to do this for 4 more of these. Let's break these apart. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now that we got that, let's go get them in place. Now what I want to do is, being that these are higher, I'm going to put the bottom on the bottom of the rear and on the front, top of the front. Let's go peel these off. Now there's no front or back to these race wires. I know there's a couple of brands now. Guess I'll use this as a measure. Right there. And I'll solder everything up right on the quad. Again, if I put the motor there, they say measure twice, cut once. Okay, that's good. So let's just get these other ones on. Now the lights themselves, they go on after I solder up the motors. At least I think that's how they go. Honestly, I haven't used these before. But I wanted to make sure I got these in a best possible location so my motor wires are okay. Now on the back it doesn't matter as much because the motor wires are on top. So I can put these a little further back in the back. Let's see, maybe about, that's about a half. I'm going to do about 3/4 in the back. Just because I can. I'll make sure they're straight because I want a nice looking quad. And of course the idea of the race wires is blade strikes won't ruin ESCs or wires. This side I want to go 3/4 of an inch. That looks about right. So we're going to have white lights this way and red lights, pink lights actually, this way. Why pink? Because they're out of red. All right, let's go start soldering this up next. Before I put the motor on, I think it'll be a lot easier to tin this up. So let's go take care of that. There we go. That looks good. I'm just going to go around and do them all. So I won't bore you with that, and we'll just speed through this part. All right, that looks good. When I finally get these motors mounted, I'm going to be using this clear shrink tube to cover the LED lights on the arm. And of course, I'm going to have to remove the arm to do that. But before I do that, I want to just get this motor and the wire length right, and then I'll take care of all of that. So to do that, you'll notice the distance here and here is going to be different. So I'm going to mount one motor temporarily here and then another one here, just to find the distance to best cut the wires. Oops. Oops, again. Hold that with a finger. And this is again just trial fitting, because I believe in measuring twice and cutting once. I don't even need to do 4 screws for this. It's just to see the wire distance. Not tight, just enough so I can see how long these wires need to be. Okay, that's good. Let's go cut those and strip them. Okay, so I can duplicate this for the back, now that I know the length. And for the other, so we get another motor, because this length might be a little bit different. Move that aside. Take just 2 screws. Again, this is just temporary. Don't have to be tight. I just want to hold it in place so I get the wires cut optimally. For this one, I'm going to bring these wires around. I'll get them straight. And they're going to have to come around like this. And probably turn a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more tricky. So the first one, there. The second one is going to have to turn a little. And do there. I think I'm going to have to measure each of these individually on the quad to make sure I get just right on the bottom. Okay. As you see, each of these is progressively a little bit longer. And that's how I'm doing that. All right, so I'm going to do this for the rest, strip and tin those up, and I'll be back. I don't know if any of you were paying attention, but I had goofed, but I just fixed it. On the front, we have the race wires on the top, and on the rear, the race wires are on the bottom. I made a goof for one of these was on the wrong side. Anyway, fixed. That's proper. All right, now we got this tinned up and mounted. We're going to go and tin our wires. A little more on that one. You got enough solder there. All right. And let's just get these down. All right, that looks good. Now the back side might be a little bit more of a challenge. You got these wires that gotta come around. Let's first start by just tinning them up. And now I'm gonna come around this way. The way these are I'm gonna twist them to the inside. Like that. Alright, this side's a little bit more tricky. Start with the closest wire. This is definitely a little bit tricky because I want this to come around. I want to use my pliers here. Need that to come around like that. Trying to use my thumb without burning myself. Ow, that was a little bit hot. Let's hope the next one's a little easier. A little bit more slack there. Put a little bit of a turn. Maybe, no. Okay. And the last one. Okay, we'll give it a little bit of a turn. Okay, that looks fairly neat, and nothing seems to be touching. I'm going to do the other two motors now. I'm going to finish the sub-assembly here of the RaceWire arms and the motor, but to do that, now I have to remove them. So let's go get to that. So we're just going to be working on these right now. The rears and the fronts. So the next thing we want to do is the lights. So I want to put pink in the front. They're noted here. This is white. And this is pink. And this is white. And this is pink. And I think I'm going to put them this way. So here's how we can kind of like do this all together. And I'm going to put these away. A nice little labeled system for all the parts because this is such a technical build. Now for these, I'm going to strip all these ends. I'm going to strip all the ends of the connection wire while I have a moment. Yes, I need to reuse all of them. So I might as well strip them. I'm not using the ends that were supplied and pre-tinned by T-Motor because I want to use my own solder, because it matches the solder that I've tinned up the ESC board with. And we need to tin them all up, so let's go through this as fast as possible. Tuning up the wires. Yeah, it doesn't get much more exciting than this. Alright, we're going to do another pink. I want to put this in like this, same orientation as that. And I'm finding it a good idea to just put a little flux there. I had a little trouble getting it to connect. And that goes right on top there. And I'm going to try and heat it down. Hopefully not disturb the wires. I don't know, I think it's going to need a little more help. I'm going to take some, I think I'm going to take a little electrical tape as a crutch here to help get this in better. And just temporarily, I'm just going to put this in place. Put a little tab on there. Okay, that'll hold it while I'm working. Because what I need to do, I believe what I need to do, let's get this centered. I believe what I need to do is get some solder on here, hold that in place, and give it a little something and bridge that. Okay, that worked. Let's do another one. Okay. That looks good. And I always like to take a little loop and double check here. Make sure they're not touching. That looks good. Now I gotta put the wires on the other end. So let's go pick any three that we tinned up previously. I think I'll do it this way. This is the easy part. I say that now, wait till I have a problem and you laugh at me. Right. Okay, that looks good. So at that point, I'm just going to take the tape off of there. Because that board should be, yep, that's in place, good. Take my shrink tube. I'm going to be using this stuff. I like this better than the stuff I was going to use. Measure out enough. Give it a snip. Let's get this on here and shrunk up. Boy, I hate when shrink tube sticks together. And this is pretty much the whole procedure for getting these arm assemblies done with the lights the way I had planned on doing this. That looks good. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Look at that, nice and clear. Okay, so we have the white and the rear arms, and we're going to do like we did before. We're going to put this in place and use a piece of electrical tape to just kind of just tack it in there while we're working. And I have a little helping hand here to help me out. Get that in place. Make sure I got it where I want it. Okay. And then just get that in there to hold it in place. Now, first thing again, just tack these in here a little better. Bridge it with some solder. All right, it looks like that's in there good. And now I just need to take some wires here and get them in place. Let's see, how does that look? Yeah. I think I need a little bit more solder there. Don't like the bridge there. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. Put that up with some more solder.
I still see some copper exposed.
All right, that looks good. Take the tape off, and the solder should be holding that in place well. Yep, sure does. And then just like the front, we're just going to take some of our shrink tube. Figure how much I need because I want to cover those ends. That's about right. All right, just get those wires in there. Sneak it on down, make sure the wires are flat. That looks good. Done. And that is the rear arm with lights. Thanks for watching till the end of this video. This video is part of a series on how to build the 6-inch smooth operator quadcopter. I hope you found it valuable. If you did, please consider being one of my Patreon subscribers. I'm Joel LikeCatcher, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Remember to click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll know when my next video goes up.